Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thanks so much for joining me. Today, I have a very special guest. Chun Rosenkranz is joining me. He is the founder and the catalyst behind the I'll Be There movement. It's a kindness challenge, and we're going to be talking about this next hour, all about this fabulous story. I first heard about Chun's story online on Facebook, and somebody had passed along a great video that shared some of the mission and some great clips of unconditional random acts of kindness throughout New York City. And I was just completely in love with it as soon as I saw it. And there's other parts of his story that I can't wait to share with all of you today. So thank you so much for being here. I'llBeThere.org is the website if you'd like to check it out while you're listening. And along the way, sign up, take the pledge, and do the challenge. Random acts of kindness with Chun Rosenkranz. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me, Hillary.
Well, you talk a little bit about this movement being born out of the kind of experience that you had at one point in your life. You were incarcerated due to an addiction to prescription pills. So you were kind of having a dark night of the soul, it seems, and you were kind of at your lowest low. And then a friend of yours did this beautiful act of kindness. Let's start there. Share that with us.
Perfect. Yeah, so as you said, I was incarcerated and I was completely broken. I had just kind of lost hope and any self-worth or belief that my life could be any different from the way that it was. And during this time, the 7th Harry Potter book came out, and I am the biggest Harry Potter fan. I had read all of the books. I had waited outside of the bookstores at midnight when the new book would be released. And so the 7th book is released, The Deathly Hallows, and incarcerated folks cannot receive hardcover books while in jail. And so I pretty much just surrendered to the fact that I wasn't going to be able to read this book, heartbroken. And my friend Jeannie, who I had met working at a wine and cheese bar in Gainesville, Florida, and we ended up being roommates, she went to Kinko's and Xeroxed all 759 pages of the Harry Potter book and sent them to me in 200-page installments. And she included a color copy of the cover, and so I had no idea. I was, just going about business as usual. But like I said, subscribed to this belief that I had no self-worth or value to the world. And in comes the first package of the Xeroxed Harry Potter book that she surprised me with. And it essentially changed my entire world around. Not only did I get the gift of Harry Potter, which is magic in itself. It's the hero's journey. It's everything. It pierces the darkness. But it also gave me a sense of life that I was loved. Here's someone who loves me when I can't love myself and does this incredible, unconditionally loving act for me. It gave me the hope that I needed to get through that time.
And sharing your story with everybody, do you feel that you're kind of sharing Harry Potter's story in a way? You've coming from your Deathly Hallows, so to speak, into something else. Talk to us a little bit about what happened when you started to share those pages of the Harry Potter book around with the other inmates.
So what was magical is that before Jeannie had sent this, other people had sent me books, and they'd sent me in softcover copies of the Harry Potter books. And I would pass these all around to the other people who were experiencing incarceration in my block, and we would all read, and, we would play chess and discuss and laugh about Harry Potter. And it's something that's so magical about those books, pardon the pun of magic, is that they do just transform you to another world, and you are able to smile, and you can feel, and, these were guys who were also at the lowest point in their life. And so at night I would pass the pages around once I finished reading them. First my cellmate would read it, and then we would discuss, and then I would pass the packets around of 200 pages. And at night, I'd stay up a little later, and you'd hear men who don't laugh. They would be in their cells, laughing at, the story. And it's something that everyone can relate to. Harry Potter, I think why it is so relatable to everyone is that it's this mythical hero's journey where we all experience darkness, we all experience pain and suffering and feelings of abandonment and loss and questioning ourselves and our worth, and then the power of friendship, the power of kindness, the power of love more than anything being the strongest element in the universe to kind of transform us out of that space and rise above and be victorious in the end.
When our
So these
parents
men would...
I'm sorry, go ahead. No, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No. So these men, jail is not a place where you cry. It's also not a place where you often hear laughter. So to hear, for me to be able to cry reading this story, not only from like the compassion that Jeannie showed me, but just from like the magic of the words of the book and the message, but to also see these other men who you would never see laugh or cry, like be so moved by the story and so touched that someone would do this. It just kind of like spread like a wave of light within the whole block. And I did take the copy out when I was released from jail so that my children would be able to read the 7th version in the way that Jeannie Xeroxed it. But I left all the other Harry Potter books that were sent to me in there so that others, while they were in that period of their life, would have something to hold on to and some hope.
Well, I have to tell you, Chun, that's one of the most beautiful stories I've ever heard. If nothing else, this represents what the possibilities are in human consciousness when we come from a place of emotion and heart and kindness and love. And if that's not a testament to the power of your friend's the moment that she made the decision from bringing something from an idea or a thought into following through and Xeroxing the pages, mailing the package. There's so many places along the way where that could have stopped. She could have said, oh, what a great thought, but then gone on to something else and gotten distracted. Oh, well, it's so expensive to Xerox that many pages of a book. There's so many things. So what do you tell people today who, when they hear a story like yours and they say, wow, I'm so inspired, because your story is very inspiring. So is your project that's transpired out of your story too. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But, the distractions, the things that stop people from being kind, what is your opinion on what is that? What is that all about? And what's the core issue that we're really talking about when it comes to people from, that aren't kind or don't make the decision to do these things? What do you think about that?
So one is I can relate. I think that, I think it's a little scary sometimes. I think it's, everyone is busy, but I think that there's also another thing that's combating that, which is this craving that people have for connection, and that we have seemed to have lost a little bit. Social media is such a powerful tool for connection, but it also allows us to like hide behind, and we remain kind of like in this realm of disconnection from each other, disconnection from real humanity and really seeing each other. So what I would say to that is, I think, for me, sometimes, I think something that blocks the intentional acts of kindness is that you think that maybe you're not really going to make a difference, that really, this won't really have any lasting meaning for someone. And, just as my story is an anecdote, but so many other stories where you hear this, you never really know the ripple effect in someone's life. I also met a social worker when I was incarcerated. Her name was Lois, who, spent many hours with me and had me write essays and tried to get me to believe that I was worth something. And, since being released, I have, now I went and got an undergraduate degree in social work from Florida State University. I got to play on the water polo team as a sober man, a 30-year-old man, never having played water polo in my life. I got a scholarship to travel to Prague to study human rights and social justice, and then got my master's degree last year from Columbia University in master's in social work. And, all of this, like, I don't believe that Lois or Jeannie or anyone who does an act of kindness believes that, the trajectory of that kindness will kind of take off. But really, I would not be where I am without the love and kindness of other human beings. So if you're feeling like you're afraid to reach out and you're feeling like it won't really make a difference, I'm here to implore you that it does, and my life is living proof of that.
His life is living proof of that. You can go to I'llBeThere.org and see exactly what has grown out of this phenomenal story. So when you got to that point, and that's a great point because people really don't realize, or maybe perhaps they stop from doing something because they're either afraid or there's fear involved somehow, or they might think they come off looking silly, or maybe there's a rejection there, like a fear of rejection of sorts. If you're nice to somebody, your kindness will be rejected, you think?
Sure. There's a myriad of reasons why we hesitate to do these acts, but I also think there are more. The reason kind of why I'll Be There went public in the way that I did was because I was seeing so much negativity with this political season on social media. So many warring factors, so many negative and vitriolic statements being made by people, and I was also, keenly aware of the fact that all around me, so many people that I work with in this office, that are doing social work, my friends, random strangers, all around me are doing, acts of kindness and love all over the place, and that stuff wasn't being seen. So that was really why I'll Be There became, a platform for people to share those and inspire each other and kind of push back against the, the vitriolic hatred that the other side, the darkness, as, the Harry Potter, and the hero's journey, this archetype of, like, light against dark. Not that there's, some sort of, like, nefarious dark force out there, but that love and light will battle that, and that love is stronger than anything else out there, and that we can really push back against that.
Yeah, I think there is a force of dark energy out there. I think that's a good way to put it, because we have so many opportunities to witness that. We can witness it in the headlines. We can witness it on mainstream media. We can witness it in the election media coverage. There's so many opportunities. And we can witness it in people's choice to be hateful and mean towards one another for reasons that really are just, in the grand scheme of things, ridiculous and benign. And so I think once people start to take that look at, themselves and see, well, what is it that I'm really afraid of? What's stopping me from being kind? And they eliminate that and they move forward. They can then see this transformational process that's going to come from that, which is what happened with you. Do you feel that this really was a pivotal fork in the road, life-changing crossroads moment for you?
Absolutely. 100%. I cannot. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just wondering, again, there's a second part to the question. I should have given you a little room there. I also wanted to know if you can look back on those days of your life at this point and be grateful and thankful for everything that you have experienced to get you to this point.
So there's this Buddhist saying that wanting things to be different from the way they are is suffering, and I fundamentally believe that. I have grown so much as a human from that time of incarceration. I'm able to have empathy and relate to humans experience suffering in a way that I never would have been able to before. This movement and the way that I try to live my life is founded in gratitude, and I'm not sure that I would want my life to have been any other way. Absolutely, was that a terrible and awful and really difficult time to go through? Yes, of course, but it also saved my life, and it allowed me to change in a way that I'm not sure anything else would have woken my soul up quite like it did.
So this was your moment. This was when that awakening, that soul awakening came through and said, Chun, I'm calling your name, you're up. It pulled your ticket and said, it's time for you to change the world. Did you feel, now talk a little bit about the transition from, getting out of jail and creating the movement that you've created. There's a lot to talk about in that. How was that for you?
Sure. So it's scary. I do much better behind the scenes. I've been doing these acts of kindness since for 8 years now, since I've been released, and very quietly, and wouldn't promote them at all, and it felt very organic and natural to me to kind of offer this hope and this light and make people believe that they're worthy of their dreams, even through the smallest acts. But the thing is that how I'll Be There also, not only in seeing like the media headlines, but was I posted one thing one day. I took a chance and I posted a picture with a little story of my experience with a man experiencing homelessness and my ability to go out and have a meal with him and talk with him and have him feel seen and heard and just do an unconditional act of kindness. And it got a whole bunch of attention. And not attention like, oh, hey, look at me attention. It was attention that's like, that's incredible. I want to do that too. And so it kind of, lit a fire in my soul to create I'll Be There in a way that would inspire, not self-promotion, not like narcissism. It's a way to inspire others as a collective of humans to go out and try and change the world. And it doesn't always need to be some monumental 759-page Xeroxing mission. It can be as simple as like asking the toll booth operator when you're on the highway how their day is going, or instead of just like ordering your coffee in the morning, to look the barista in the eyes and tell them to have a beautiful day or good morning. It's like, it's connection, it's kindness, it's having people believe, it's seeing the humanity in other human beings and offering that, seeing the light in each other.
I like how you say it's connection. It feels like that's what's missing, even though we feel so much more connected with all the digital technology in our lives now. And it's so easy to get on and communicate with somebody all the way on the other side of the world, but we still have major human connection issues. And do you feel that the connectiveness in technology has made that worse or made that better, or is it a double-edged sword? How do you see it? Because it does allow us to give the message out.
Sure. I mean, I absolutely think it's the latter. I think it's a double-edged sword. I think so I'm absolutely at fault of this too, of like just being absorbed by my phone and reading instead of being present in some moments, instead of connecting with humans around me. So I constantly am challenging myself to put my phone down, to look up, to see people, to look people in the eyes, to watch interactions on the subway, to watch a mother with her child playing, in the park, to be present for humanity, so that I can catch those gems of a moment of human connection, that I can see people, that I can be seen. I do think social media is such a powerful tool, and you look at the Arab Spring, you look at any of the movements, Black Lives Matter, that are going on, and our ability to receive information at such an instant pace, and also to spread hope and love. I mean, I think it's both an incredibly powerful tool and also such a distraction from our ability to be present and grounded in the moment.
Well, let's talk about your campaign here, I'll Be There. Let's talk about how you're asking others to use social media and modern-day digital technology to create a wave of human kindness.
Sure. So I started the I'll Be There project as kind of like an overall umbrella organization, and one of the campaigns is this kindness challenge, in which I'm asking everyone to participate in, and where you do an intentional act of kindness, and it can be as big as small as you desire. You could take a picture of it, you could write a story about it, you could take a video, but you would upload it to social media with the hashtag I'll Be There project, and then you are going to challenge 3 friends to do the same. That way you create this wave of love, this kind of pushback that has the power to, the ripple effect to go all over the world.
Well, I believe in it, and I know my listeners believe in it. So if you're listening right now and you want to commit, say somebody wants to get involved, what's the best way for them to get involved? They're sitting here listening to you talk, and they're inspired, and they go check out your website, and they like your Facebook page. What is it that you want them to do? I think you have kind of a protocol where you actually get someone to do these acts of kindness. They post it on social media. They tag the I'll Be There project, and then they challenge 3 of their friends to do the same. How do they? Am I doing it right? Is that how we do it? Is
exactly.
That how we're okay? And
that's exactly right.
Pictures, footage, stories, all of it can go where? Where do you want it sent?
So one of the issues that we have is that status updates often are not public. They can only be seen by friends. So with using the hashtag I'll Be There project, we were hoping to be able to catalog and you would essentially, you're having a rough day, you're looking for inspiration, you look down and you see all of these simple acts that people are doing all over the world to inspire you to not only to be a better person, but to just reach out and touch someone, whether that is, buying them a kind bar as you're walking down the street and you see someone experiencing homelessness, or buying a cup of coffee for the person behind you, or just simply offering a smile and a hello, or your seat on the subway. It's to be inspired. So by using the hashtag I'll Be There project, we found it as a way to just catalog it all into one place and collect these stories so that we can see what's happening, we can see the ripple effect. So if you do an act of kindness, we invite you to post it as a public status so that we all can join in on that inspiration.
I think it's a great idea. The idea is brilliant and genius and motivating. It's a catalyst to create a real difference. And it's almost like lighting up people's consciousness to be more mindful and prayerful, and actually not even prayerful, because this is above and beyond any kind of affiliation. This is like anybody can do it. Doesn't matter what religion you are, what race you are, what your ideals are. Kindness is a human trait across the board, regardless. of your affiliation. So this is why it works, don't you think?
Absolutely. I mean, anyone can do it, no matter what religion or agnosticism you subscribe to, or atheism. I mean, it's not about separation. It is about a collective humanity, a collective consciousness that we all can tap into, that we all are inherently have inside of our hearts. And not only was I changed by what happened to me in jail, but Jeannie has also been changed. I mean, there's so much to be said for the receiver being changed, but there's also this fact of, like, when you give, I'm almost not able to articulate, because it's this, like, intangible feeling inside of you where you connect to something deeper in you that is, like, a primal, and it is craving to be kind of scratched. It's this connection, this desire to love and be loved. And I mean, it is almost addictive to offer acts of kindness. I mean, that's why I encourage people, get out there, try one, take a risk, and you'll feel how it changes your day. It's almost impossible to have a terrible day when you're out there in a space of gratitude, in a space of giving, and you're able to offer another human being that there's that saying that we never be kind, for everyone is fighting a battle that you know nothing about. And that's the thing. I mean, we have these opportunities every day, all day long, to be that one shining light in someone's day. They might have just lost a job. They might have, many, many things could have happened to them that day. But you can be that one shining light in their day.
Would it be fair to say that your experience when you were incarcerated, going through that act of kindness, being on the receiving end of that, being in that place where you were at, and many people can relate to that. A lot of people lose hope. The world is a strange place. I mean, you can look around and see a lot of beauty and see a lot of kindness, and you can also look around and see a lot of anger and hate and things that need to heal and grow. So there's a lot of duality that we deal with being a human being in the human experience. And so kindness, it almost feels to me when you talk about your story or I read it, it's like an angel came in and gave you that spark because they followed through on that pull, what you just explained, what you just talked about, this kind of primal, instinctual type of yearning to connect with somebody else in a positive, loving, light-filled way. And then when you do, that spark becomes something that you may never know. So even if you do this for a total stranger, then with no expectations, nothing, no agenda, and you move on, you're both illuminated for that moment. Would you say that's fair to say?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I'm in constant contact with Jeannie, and Jeannie is the friend who did the Harry Potter act for me. And, she is, she had, when we talked about it, she had no idea that first simple act would have, changed my life and the trajectory that I've gone on since being released. But it is that spark, it is that light, when humanity or when human beings are experiencing a low point or this kind of dark hour where you've lost that hope, is, it's such a simple concept to be of service and to be that light for somebody, and it just has such a profound effect. And we never know what that effect will be. There is, like you said, no agenda. It is just you offer this to the universe, and the ripple effects are infinite.
I think it has to do with being a human being. I mean, it's kind of like our specialty, being kind. We can be hateful really well. We've proven that over history. But we can also be very kind, and there's so much magic and beautiful in the world if we just take the time to see it and then be an advocate for that to spread. So the passing on element of the random acts of kindness, I think, is also really important to talk about a little bit, because what it is really a ripple. It's like a ripple effect of consciousness, really. You're nice, you do something out of the blue for somebody that, you change their space, you're right, you don't know where they're coming from. Somebody could be walking by you with a smile on their face saying hello, and their whole world could be crashing inside and you just don't know it. So, the acts of hate and anger and the opposite of kindness can have a snowball effect as well. So there's an opposite to the act of kindness, and it has the same kind of energetic effect. Would you say that's fair to say?
Of course, absolutely. I mean, if there is anything that this project is trying to encompass, it is to be the opposite of the negativity and hatred. And I'm keenly aware of the fact that random acts of kindness is not going to change structural oppression or racism, or poverty. Some of these world hunger, some of these really major issues that are plaguing the world right now. But what it does allow us to do is to see the humanity in people, to challenging racial bias, challenging the darkness, inside of us that has kept us separate from other human beings. It allows us to become the human family that we were born to be before we were socialized any other way, before we were taught hate and anger. It is the opposite. It's the counterweight. It is the light to the dark. It's kindness and love are really, I know it sounds cheesy, hyperbolic, the fact that kindness and love will change the world, but I know it to be true fundamentally inside of my being. I mean, I've seen what it has done for my own life, and I've seen the way it has changed other people's lives. And I mean, it is a truth. It is a fact. It is a part of me that I now accept. That love is stronger than anything else in the world, and that is what I'm trying to share with the world. Is my love for humanity, the love that I received. I'm so inspired by take Ellen for example. She's a platform, and she has changed the world. She offers kindness and love and happiness. It's these human beings that reach out and offer a hand to other human beings and offer a smile, and it is so powerful. It's my heart's beating so fast right now talking about it. I just get so passionate. It's such a magical experience to be both the giver and the receiver of love.
Well, I'm a believer, and you're on the right show for this topic, let me tell you. We've only had one conversation before the show. We're going to have a few more, I believe, and you're going to see that. I believe that is true. Yeah, no, we are. I believe that kindness and love are the antidotes for what we're watching. I've been on the air for over a decade, and I also host a politics show I started hosting this year, and one of the reasons I decided to do the show was because the energy of the show was not a typical political show. It was a show to bring a different alternative view to politics. And being in alternative media since 2005, I had the right questions to ask some of these typical mainstream people who are used to being interviewed by CNN, big, mainstream media companies. They're used to the song and dance. And so when they got to my questions, they were kind of like, nobody's ever asked me that before. Wow. Well, yeah, that's because we need to know it. And so here come my podcast. So I think whatever we have to offer the world, whatever our thing is, whatever it is, we create containers. And as we create containers, we fill it up with acts of beauty, acts of love, things that, are offerings to the world, to humanity, to consciousness. We leave a trail. You're leaving a legacy. You're leaving a legacy for other people. You're leaving a container. You've built it very well. And, you're utilizing the social media technology, the digital technology, for positive means. And you're showing people that you can take a platform and you can turn it into a movement that is something as simple as this, but yet can change lives and break people open to see that there's different ways of seeing things and different paths to take, and there's hope. I think hope is probably one of the most important qualities that we can give other people. And when you're kind or you offer love, you are at the same time offering hope. Somebody like you who's gone through a massive transformation, the before and after picture is a really stark difference, I guess, from what I hear from your story. And, the people have to understand that the spiritual movements that are kind of flying across consciousness on this planet right now it's not about being a perfect meditator or a perfect person and you do no wrong and you think nothing. We're all human. We all have the highs and lows of the roller coaster experience, and we go through it and we get through it and we get on the other side of it, and then we learn and we move on and we keep going. It's when we get stuck that we need help. And I think that's when these kind of moments come in. It's almost coordinated by a larger force at work, and I think it's the force that's working to help coordinate random acts of kindness really is, kind of whatever you want to call God or whatever you want to call the creator, the universe, or, the good guys, the guys that are working on the side of saying, hey, there's more to life than hating people and being mean and hurting others. So I don't think there's anything more important than what you're doing, and I see it as something that, this is a person who has taken his story and turned it into a container to inspire other people, to spread it, and it's like a viral love infusion into, a world that is in desperate need of it. And thank you so much for doing that, because if you had changed your mind along the way at any point, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now. I wouldn't be staring at your website, and I wouldn't have watched your beautiful video, and I wouldn't have had this opportunity to hear you and to share and to have this conversation. So thank you, first of all.
Oh, thank you so much. That means so much. I'm truly grateful for having you and having the opportunity to speak to you about my passion.
Well, some people say once you come on my show, magical things happen, so may this bless the whole project.
I love it.
So now here we are. We're in the middle of this incredible movement, and people are doing these acts of kindness, and they're sharing it. What's your hope moving forward with the I'll Be There project? What's your next? What are you guys working on now?
So there's the kindness challenge out there, and then I'm also now going to start looking for corporate sponsorships. The Kind Bar, Kind Snacks organization, they do a great deal of humanitarian work and invest a good amount of money into people who are trying to spread kindness. So I'm going to look into grants and ways to kind of do larger scale projects. One thing right now, so I just put up a GoFundMe last week when I released the video, and so already people have donated, and that money is going to go to larger scale projects such as, we're working with Hope and Heroes at the Columbia Hospital for children with pediatric cancer, and so we're going out and buying all of the kids brand new toys. We had all these teddy bears that were brand new, bought from Amazon, but because of the immunity issue, they have to be they can't be like teddy bears. They have to be prepackaged toys that can be sterilized. So we are in the midst of once that money comes in and it is put into the account, we are going to go on a shopping spree and fill their closet up because their toy closet is empty as of now. We're also working on building gardens at low-income schools in the Bronx. That's another project that we're working on. We also are trying to do, with that money as well, is buy every LGBTQ homeless teen currently residing at one of the shelters in New York City a brand new outfit so that they can feel somewhat at home. So we are going to look to get corporate sponsorship so that we can do some of these bigger projects that people can be involved in, and then share that love as well with the community on the I'll Be There Project Facebook page.
It takes money and a village. It takes money and a village. And it does. That's the truth. And sometimes you don't find the funding for things like this, and they don't bloom the way they should be blooming. So I hope everyone listening, please go to the website and consider donating some money to the project's greater cause, and preferably go out and do random act of kindness, document it, and come back and share it, and challenge 3 people to do the same. We really have an opportunity, especially right now. There's so much critical, uncertain kind of energy going on. We have big elections going on, lots of people talking about, this and that and all this other stuff. So easy to get distracted and to forget the little things that matter, that make us who we are as human beings. And that can be as simple as giving someone some positive encouragement, saying hello, reaching out and telling somebody that you care, as much as it can be buying something for someone or helping to pass on, some of this bigger vision stuff. Now, Chun, I know your father has passed. If he were, I'm sure he's looking down on heaven and watching you go through all this beautiful growth. If you could say something to him now, what would you say?
Well, he had an incredible heart, still does. I believe, his energy and his heart is still out there. And he was also an incredibly smart and articulate spokesperson. So I just want him to know that I love him, and I hope that I'm making him proud, and to give me some of that articulation and spokesperson energy as I try to transform this project to be the biggest it can be, to affect as many lives as possible, and that I love him, every fiber of my soul.
So we're asking for prayers for good juju for Chun to move this project into the next level, right? We're opening it up. We're taking it to the next level. The next level, wouldn't it be great? Could you imagine in your lifetime if you were able to watch this project become the core foundation of the new human being on the planet, where you fast forward yourself, a couple centuries from now, and because people like you have started things like this, we have a different society. We have a different kind of compassion. We have a different kind of emotional human being print than we do now. We can look back and say, wow, remember those dark ages when the humans were so mean to each other and they didn't do anything nice for each other. All they did was go to war.
And I think that it's like, I'm not going to stop until it's going to be my life's work to spread as much love as possible until my last breath. And have you ever read The Alchemist?
Yes, I have. I
love that book. And there's a quote in it, when you really want something to happen, the whole universe will conspire that your wish comes true. And I truly believe that. I think that love and kindness are in alignment with what this universe wants and needs. And I believe that we will all conspire to make this happen. And that this is not my movement. I don't own this. I am just a piece of this greater collective of humanity, trying to offer us another way to connect with each other, as opposed to this disconnect, this separation. So I believe the universe is conspiring for this to happen.
I was just going to say, yes. I do believe that you are dealing. The reason that this has such a beautiful heart to it, this whole project has a gorgeous heart to it. And therefore, when it has a gorgeous heart, it can create a lot of love, and it can create a huge resonance field with people, and it can just touch and just keep going quantumly even. I mean, I'm sure there's even science behind what you're doing. The science behind.
There's research.
Yeah. There's research behind random acts of kindness and what it does. And so if you're one of those out there listening who needs the science and the facts behind it, you can find it. It's out there. I talk more along the energy lines because that's just who I am, but I see it. I see the heart in this project is really big. And I think because you listen to the call and you are following your destiny and your fate, you have created a golden chalice type container, and this is something powerful and blessed and built in an energy that is really quite wonderful. And like Harry Potter, like his transformation through his journeys, which, I'm a big fan, as you know. And so when we were watching his progression go through, being released every year, we had a new story, a new chapter. There was kind of a momentum. Well, there was a momentum that got created from that movement. Now, if she was rejected from publishers, I believe 10 or 11, 12 times. Don't quote me on that, but it was up there. And then finally somebody took a chance on her work and helped her get out into that big platform. And because she followed through at every stage, and because she kept hope, and because she kept going and kept trusting that pull, that body of work was released out into the world. I think that story, that journey of the author even, is very close to yours, that you have this incredible there's a lot more coming, and you're really just putting together the container for it and asking people to start doing it. But I think you're going to have a little bit of a Harry Potter adventure yourself in this one, and you might end up on the other end of it. Who knows?
Who knows? I'm signed up for the adventure. And I love the story of J.K. Rowling. I mean, she was at a really low point in her life. She started writing Harry Potter on cocktail napkins. She was a single mother, and I believe she was struggling financially at the time. And now I believe she's richer than the Queen of England. I mean, she is. I mean, of a story of and she changed the world through this magical story. She changed so many lives, not only my own, but you're a fan. I mean, everyone I know. Although there are some haters out there, everyone I know essentially loves Harry Potter, and so here is this the hero's journey, that she she was struggling. She found herself. She believed in something. She believed in this boy, in this adventure that she had in her mind. She believed in love and this timeless story of light versus dark, and love being stronger than hate. And she put it out there, and it changed the world. It's magic.
And if she hadn't done that, you would never have received that book in jail. You wouldn't have had that moment, perhaps. Maybe it would have been something else. But I just think, it goes to show, it shows the ripple effect, exactly. I mean, it goes to show that no matter what it is, if you are meant to birth an idea or something, then that is your fate, that is your destiny. Who are you to say no to that?
Absolutely.
It's just going to hurt. It's just going to cause some suffering if you say no, and you're going to stumble and stumble and stumble and stumble until finally you go, okay, gosh, I get it. It's hitting the head kind of moment. I don't think you can really escape it. I don't think that, when you have a destiny this big, you just cannot escape it.
Absolutely. But sometimes you need someone to show you that you're worthy of your dreams. I mean, sometimes you need someone to be there for you when you're in fear, when you're not following your destiny, where you do feel lost, and that's where this project comes in. That's where Harry Potter comes in. That's where the millions of acts of kindness that people do for each other every day, all over the world. They all play a huge part in having people believe that they are worthy of following their dreams. That they are meant to do something, whatever it is on this earth, and they are meant to do it from their heart space, with passion, with creativity, in whatever way they want to offer that to the universe. But we need to support them when they are in that space of fear or hurting, when they are not connected to that source power.
I am so glad you said that. Thank you so much for saying that, because I see way too much of that happening, especially in the spiritual new age type industry work, where we see someone struggling or somebody's having a hard time, and then, we turn their backs. They turn their backs because, your energy is not right, or, that person isn't, their vibration, give me a break. Give me a break. Let's leave that on the side and say, let's support people. Let's hold them. Let's hold them when they need holding. Nurturing is nurturing. If you hold back nurturing from a child who's growing, we see very detrimental effects not only in their physical development, but their mental, their emotional, and I'm sure their spiritual development, if somebody bothered to measure that from growth. I don't see too many studies of that, but we forget that children are spiritual beings too. They have a very loving, clear, innocent type view of the world until that changes, until somebody teaches them hate or teaches them some form of disconnection, or, however to express that. We also learn love. We learn love as children. We learn how to love. We learn what love looks like, whether that view is a broken love story or a happy, successful love story. We learn what love is at a very young age, and we carry that forward. We also learn what kindness is. So if somebody's not learning kindness growing up, and then someone comes along and teaches them kindness, I mean, what a profound mirror that can be, because I think in order to understand kindness, you really have to understand the other side of kindness.
Absolutely.
Self or through others, whatever that is. And, it's kind of like you can't really know what love is until you know what hate is, and vice versa.
Sure. I mean, so I do social work during the day, and I mainly work with people experiencing incarceration in the Bronx, and try to humanize them and get DAs and judges to see the humanity in this belief that we are more than, as Brian Stevenson says, we are more than our worst mistake. And I mean, it's such a profound, it's heartbreaking, but it's such a profound environment to see, what we have been, the stories that we have been told since birth about our worth. And the ability for humanity, just like that social worker was in jail for me, and just like Jeannie was in jail for me, the ability for humans and humanity to sweep in and allow that person to create a new story for themselves, that they are worthy of their dreams. They can do whatever they want. There are absolutely structural barriers in the way that, but to just connect with another human being and offer love, and just to be there and listen and to see them and to see that humanity, as opposed to see the charge the crime they're charged with, or it is humbling in a place that I again can't really articulate, and then to have my story involved there and to see myself in them. I mean, that is the truth about empathy is our ability to see ourselves in someone else. and their suffering, and then also their joy is to share that. And so Jeannie saw me in my darkest hour. She really saw me, and she was there for me. And now she also gets to share in all of the magic that has happened, since I've been released. So it's this idea that we can make others believe that they are worthy of their dreams. And you spoke earlier about hope, and I think that is one of the most powerful, hope and love almost being synonymous, and that, like, when you love someone, you offer them hope of change, hope of a new life, hope of their worth, and hope that someone else cares about them. And I think that is like the essence of this project, love and hope.
It's the heart. It's the soul. That's what I think is going to reach so many people. I mean, when I saw it and listened and watched and read your story, it was like, oh yeah, I get that. I know. I've done that. I've had people do that to me, and I know what those moments have meant. And all of us who can relate to that in really big ways, and they can all say yes. I remember when I was feeling really, sad and depressed, and someone shows up into my life to do a random act of kindness with no agenda, and just pure heart and love. The hope comes in. It's like hope is the same thing. It's a taint of a color or hue within that beauty. Yeah.
Yeah, you're instantly bathed in the sunlight of kindness and love, and I think it changes you on a cellular level, even if you can't recognize it in the moment, even if you go about your day, and it's not until you get into bed later on that you realize, like, wow, that person got up. They saw that I was having a rough day, or they saw that I had my kid with me, and they got up from the subway seat and allowed me to sit down. Like these little gems of moments that happen all over the place, everywhere. Like, they have this, they are known and they are recognized not only within the spirit, but like in a physical way within the body.
And then a whole nother beautiful happens after that, because we create a chemical reaction when we feel our emotions. I mean, that's proven. And so when we feel love, we start a chain effect inside of our body on a biochemical level that begins to stimulate the actual natural world around us. And so when we do that with people, it's the same kind of thing, because we're the same kind. So when you've had a conversation with somebody, and I think you can relate to this, the difference between a conversation that is illuminating your mind and stimulating your love and stimulating your intellect, and you have all kinds of aha moments and synchronistic events happen, and you walk away from that conversation feeling completely different than when you have a conversation where things are negative, gossipy, boring, heavy kind of conversations, right? You've noticed that?
Oh my gosh, yes, absolutely. It's such a different texture, and you absolutely feel it. It sits in my stomach when I leave a conversation in which there's negativity present versus one where it's positive, it's uplifting, it's from a strength perspective, which is something that we talk about in social work. It's a completely different feeling, and like you were saying, on this biochemical level, like I can feel it, and so like. If I can walk into every space, if all of us can walk into every space trying to leave that space a bit lighter, those human beings a bit happier than they were before we got there, then like we have done our jobs as humans, We so often I look to, these societal goals as like realms of success, and it's like that none of that stuff is really lasting. And I know that's very easy to say right now, but like, when I have to pay rent next month, it'll be another story. But it is how we make people feel. It is how we change the world through love. It is who we are as humans that is our legacy. It's not these material possessions. It's those conversations that you have where we engage in positivity and in strength building and building people up versus tearing them down with gossip. And we all engage in gossip. Like it's just but we are seeking to fight back against that with love, with connection, with positivity, with inspiration, with hope, with all of those really, really feel-good words that absolutely mean something so profoundly deep within our souls.
I see writing on your future, Chun. I don't know if you're writing your memoir yet, but I hope you're started. I hope hope you're putting some of these thoughts down on a blog or paper somewhere. If you haven't, I'm sorry, I haven't found it yet. So if you do have that already out there, I apologize. Please let everybody know where you can find it.
No, I haven't started one yet.
Okay, to-do list, where are you? Put it down.
I know,
it's something that you need to do.
I need more hours in the day.
Well, it's strange how you can stretch time when you're doing things like this, because, when you align yourself with your passion, with your fate, and the universe is conspiring to put it all around you so that you can do it, time becomes something very fluid. And you just, it's kind of like creating a painting. Like, I'm an artist, so I paint and do things, and I don't touch the canvas until I'm really called to go to the canvas and touch it. I never force myself to walk up to a piece of art and work on it without me being in that space. And, some call it writer's block. If you're a writer, you sit down to write and there's a certain space that's created. Well, I think people create that in conversation when they find a connection. And if random acts of kindness is the precursor to allowing two people to have a conversation, not based in anything but just openness, open love and trust and curiosity about, where you're finding yourself in the moment, we would have a lot more solutions bubbling up through people's intellect and consciousness, because I think that's what's really being suppressed when it comes down to it. If you really have to just refine it down to something, what's really being repressed is people's ability to connect to themselves, connect to other people, connect to emotions. I just read an interesting article last week, I believe it was, or it was about how Tylenol, or there were certain kind of over-the-counter pain medications, very common household names, that if taken long enough, actually decrease or completely remove people's ability to have empathy. And when I read that, I almost fell out of my chair. I will send you the link. And I will post it on my stuff too, guys, if you're listening and want to read more about that. I could not believe it, but yet I could, because the pharmaceutical companies, and I won't go into a long rant, my listeners know this is one of my favorite ranting subjects. The pharmaceutical companies, we really don't realize the toll the human body has taken based on the current way we live. We have food and pollution and things that affect our environment so much that we're kind of evolving beyond it because we have to, because life seeks life usually. So it's always evolving to transcend the challenges and complications of our environment. However, what we're also doing is consuming things that are taking essential, vital human aspects out of the human body, like empathy. If you don't have empathy, how do you do a random act of kindness? You don't care what other people feel.
Right. That is extremely interesting and also profoundly terrifying. What you just said. I'm also I'm a big believer in organic gardening and connecting back to the earth, and that we have lost that piece with all of the processed foods that are being kind of forced down our throats. But to hear that empathy can be absent from taking an over-the-counter drug is absolutely terrifying. So all the more reason, to kind of invite folks to join this project, because I think without empathy, like you said, we are lost.
Without empathy, we are in the zombie apocalypse. I'm really convinced. I'm sorry if that sounds doom and gloom, everybody, but it's true. Without empathy, in fact, how do we know that wasn't some kind of social experiment? Because it's not out of the question. But here we are showing that an over-the-counter household name type product can wipe out empathy, and that doesn't even include some of the things in other, vaccines or other medications, things of that sort. We're really playing with things that we think we understand, and perhaps somewhere someone does understand it, but the consequences of taking empathy out of the human condition is we're going to have a bunch of zombie-like people walking around. So I guess your random act of kindness could be a test platform for people. Are you a zombie or not?
Absolutely. I absolutely invite anyone listening to participate in the challenge. Not so much to proclaim that you're not a zombie, but to reclaim your humanity, to reclaim your place on this earth as a human being that cares about each other, that cares about what happens to other human beings to be able to walk down a street and see someone experiencing homelessness, and even if you don't have money to buy them a cup of coffee or food, but to look them in the eye and to see that suffering, to be present for someone else's life, and to be awake. I'm every day I'm trying to awake a little bit more. I'm absolutely nowhere near an awake human being, but we are all on this path together. We are all on this planet together. It's the only planet that we have. And during my time here, I just want to connect with as many human beings as possible, and to offer as much love to anyone who is not feeling worthy of their dreams or doesn't feel like they are worthy of love. I am proof of what love can do and how love changes lives. And so, as opposed to being a zombie, let's just be human.
I don't want people to walk away from the show and say, don't be a zombie, but don't be a zombie. Chun, I have to disagree with you on part of that. I think you are a very evolved human being. I think that your path has put you I think you've always been on the path. I don't think it's something that you wouldn't be doing if you weren't in that healed whole space. And I want to make sure that you hear that from me and other people. And I'm sure other people have told you that too, especially when, they read your work. Your authenticity is very clear, and you're standing in your integrity. And that's also very clear in the way that you present yourself, the way that you share your story. And so, take a little credit there, buddy, for being a really cool person and a great person and doing wonderful, kind things. I mean, ego doesn't exist when there's no agenda.
Thank you so much for saying that.
Yeah. So you can build an empire and build a fantastic container for this movement, and let the movement, be the catalyst for, reaching other people and waking them up and getting them to think and have their own awakening, because really a random act of kindness can change everyone's life, and everyone needs some kind of change. Well, we're at the end of our hour here, and I'd like you to give a special shout out to your partner. He won a very special award last night.
Oh, he did. My boyfriend Paul McGill, he won the Astaire Award for Best Choreography in a off-Broadway play, and I am insanely proud of him. He wasn't even there to pick up this award because he is right now in Berlin choreographing a circus for Filament, called Filament, and so he is. I'm insanely proud of him and his artistry and the way that he moves through this world as a graceful, loving man. And
now, what does he think about all this? What does he think about this plate of yours, what you're doing?
Oh, he has been incredibly supportive. He shares all of my posts, and then the moments of fear before talking to you, before posting the video. He is a rock of support and love and guidance as well. So he is a magical partner to be, dancing down this path with.
It's really important to remember that these are the things that support, people who are going through this kind of fate-destined building of the container kind of thing, because having a partner that is loving and supportive and is priceless when it comes to these moments. It's almost like a love moment of loveness. You have kindness and you have loveness, and the loveness is what cushions and pulls you back into focus and keeps you going. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story. It's been a pleasure and an honor to speak to you today.
Thank you so much for having me, Heather. Yeah, it's been an honor to talk to you. Such beautiful energy.
Well, we wish you the best of luck. Everyone here at Yin Radio TV wishes you guys luck, and in any way we can support your efforts, we are here to do that. Thank you, everyone, for listening. You can listen to the archive on YouTube. You can go to YouTube, subscribe to Hillary Raimo. Please share the video with everyone. I'd love to give this a lot of attention. So I'm going to call on my listeners to do just that. If this has inspired you in any way, please go to YouTube, find the archive. We will post it on our Facebook, Instagram, Twitter pages, and you can share it. Share, and go out and do these random acts of kindness and come back and tell us about it. I'll be there.org.
Yay!
You're listening to Yin Radio TV, and I'm Hillary Radio. Until next time, namaste, everyone.